Hello everyone and welcome to your channel of Pharmacology, where today we will be discussing about Clinical Pharmacokinetics part 2. Now the link for part 1 of this lecture is given in the description box. Please see it before you start part 2. So let us begin. So what do we mean by clearance? Now clearance, it is the theoretical volume of plasma from which the drug is completely eliminated in unit time. Okay, what do we mean by this? Suppose we are saying that the clearance of a drug is 50 ml per minute. Okay, that means that in 1 minute, for the drug to be completely removed, you need 50 ml of plasma. Now how do we calculate clearance? The clearance is calculated by the formula rate of elimination divided by C. This C stands for the plasma concentration of the drug. And this clearance, the concept of this clearance is very important if we want to design a rational regimen, and especially if that regimen is of a longer duration. Because all the clinicians, what we want is that to maintain a steady state plasma concentration of the drug, so that we can get the maximum therapeutic benefit. Okay. Now this steady state plasma concentration, it is again very important because dosing rate, the dosing rate of the drug, that is given by clearance multiplied by the concentration. This is the steady state plasma. CSS stands for the steady state plasma concentration of the drug. Okay. So suppose we know what is the steady state plasma concentration of the drug, then the dosing rate, it depends on this clearance. So now we have learned that steady state plasma concentration is important. Now this steady state plasma concentration of the drug, we try to keep it within the therapeutic window of the drug. And what is therapeutic window? Therapeutic window, it is a range. A range of what? It is the range between the therapeutic efficacy and minimal adverse effect. So the range between the therapeutic efficacy and the minimal adverse effect, it is known as therapeutic window. So more the therapeutic window, more safe is the drug. Now let us assume that the bioavailability of the drug is maximum, that is 100% or other one. In that case, the steady state will be reached when the rate of elimination of the drug will be equal to the rate of administration of the drug. Now you may think that increasing the doses of the drug is going to increase the clearance of the drug, but rather what we have observed is that the clearance of the drug, it remains constant over the range of conditions or the concentrations with which the drug is given clinically. So the entire clinical range, in that clinical range, the clearance of the drug is going to remain constant. Now we have also studied in an earlier lecture that there are various compartment models. Now the drug can be distributed in various parts of the body. So now each part of the body, there will be clearance of the drug. So suppose we are talking about the systemic clearance of the drug. In that case, we are talking individually about whichever organ is acting as the clearance of the, rather whichever organ is clearing the drug. Suppose renal and hepatic is also clearing it, or other any other organ, say something like lungs. So, or the sum total of all these clearances, that will ultimately give you the systemic clearance. Now, for the clearance to occur, some kinetics need to be followed by the drug, and there are two kinds of kinetics. The first kinetic is known as the first order kinetics, and another one is the zero order kinetics. So let us discuss about first order kinetics. Now we know for the drug to be eliminated from the body, it is acted upon by some enzymes, right? So these enzymes, they help in drug removal, but normally in body these enzymes are in surplus amounts. We have got more enzymes than we need. So suppose we are giving 100 molecules of the drug, but the number of enzymes that we have is 50,000. So in normal cases, since the number of drugs is much less than the number of enzymes, so the elimination process, it is not saturated. Now the rate of elimination for a first order kinetics, the rate of elimination is directly proportional to the concentration of the drug. Okay. And another thing, in first order kinetics, a constant fraction of the drug is eliminated per unit time. Right? First order kinetics, F for fraction. So a constant fraction of the drug is getting eliminated per unit time, a constant percentage of the drug. Okay. Now the clearance remains constant, and majority of the drugs that we see, they follow the first order kinetics of elimination. So let us understand the concept of first order kinetics in a bit more detail. So as I've already told you that in first order kinetics, a constant fraction of the drug will be eliminated. So suppose I start with 100 molecules of the drug, and let us suppose that in 2 hours 50% of the drug is eliminated. That means I am left with 50 molecules. Again after 2 hours 50% of the drug will, but this time 50% of 50 will be eliminated. That means I will be left with 25 molecules. Again after 2 hours I will be left with 12.5, that is 50% of 25. After 2 more hours I will be left with 6.25, and so on. Right? So now let us calculate the rate of elimination. Now the rate of elimination, that is given by the total number of molecules that have been eliminated divided by the time. That means how many molecules? I had 100 molecules and now I am left with 50 molecules. That means I lost 50 molecules in 2 hours, which will give me the rate as 25 per hour. Now in this case I have started with 50 molecules and now I have 25 molecules. So the rate will be, I have lost 25 molecules. So the rate will be 25 divided by 2. It will be 12.5 per hour. Now in this case I had 25 molecules and I ended up with 12.5. That means I lost 12.5 molecules of the drug in 2 hours. So now the rate will be 6.25 per hour. And in this case I had 12.5 and then I ended up with 6.25. That means I have lost 6.25 molecules in 2 hours and the rate of elimination is 3.125 per hour. So if you look into it carefully, when the concentration of the drug is high, the rate of elimination is also more, right? When the concentration of the drug is less, the rate of elimination is also less. That means in first order kinetics, the rate of elimination is directly proportional to the plasma concentration of the drug. That was the first point that we learned. Now we also know that if you want to remove this proportionality, you need to add a constant to it. That means I can write rate of elimination of the drug equals to, let us assume that this constant is K times plasma concentration. Now let us see what is going to happen on the clearance of the drug. So now the clearance of the drug, it is given by the rate of elimination divided by the plasma concentration of the drug. Now the rate of elimination, what we have calculated just now, it is K times plasma concentration divided by plasma concentration. So these two will be cut. So that means the clearance will be equal to K, and this K is a constant. So we can say that the clearance for a first order kinetics, it will be a constant. So let us see here also. Now what is the clearance for this one? The rate of elimination is this, that is 25, and the plasma concentration of the drug is 100. That means the clearance is 1 by 4.25. Now in this case, the plasma concentration is 50 and the rate of elimination is 12.5. So the clearance is 12.5 divided by 50, which is again equals to 1 by 4, which means 0.25. In the third case, it was 25 and the rate of elimination is 6.25. So again the clearance will be 6.25 divided by 25, which again is 0.25 only. And in this case, it is 12.5, it is 3.125. This is the rate of elimination. It is 3.125 and the plasma concentration is 12.5. So the rate of elimination is again 1 by 4, which is equal to 0.25. So in both ways we saw that the clearance remains constant. Now let us look into the half-life. What happens to the half-life? Now the half-life of a drug is the time taken by the drug to reduce to 50% of its original volume, or rather original concentration. Okay. So in case of half-life, that means this is the initial concentration, and 50% of that means I have lost 50% of that one, and the time taken is 2 hours. So the first half life is 2 hours. Now if I start from 50 and the next 50% is 25, it has again taken 2 hours. From 25 to 12.5, again 50% loss, and it has taken 2 hours. From 12.5 to 6.25, again a 50% loss, and it has taken 2 hours. Right? So the half life, it is also constant. So now let us see what happens in zero order kinetics. Now in zero order kinetics, what we have just learned just now, that the enzymes, that there are enzymes for the purpose of clearance of the drug, but normally these enzymes are in surplus amount. So suppose I have got 100 molecules of drug, but the body has 50,000 molecules of the enzyme. So the process is not saturated. But suppose I keep on increasing the dose of the drug. Right? Now I have 1000. So again the number of enzymes is more. Then I have 10,000. Again the number of enzymes is more. But I keep on increasing the dose and I reach 50,000. Now it is equal to the number of enzymes that are present for the purpose of the clearing of the drug, or for the purpose of drug metabolism. Now I keep on increasing the dose. Now I make it 1 lakh molecules. But even then the number of enzymes is 50,000 only. So no matter how much I increase, whether it is 1 lakh or whether it is 2 lakh, the number of drug molecules that can be cleared is 50,000 only, because that is the maximum number of enzymes that I have in the body. So the mechanism for the drug elimination, it has been saturated. This kind of drug elimination follows the saturation kinetics. Now in case of zero order kinetics, a constant amount of the drug is eliminated per unit time. Right? 0, it is the first number of the number system, and the first letter is of the alphabet system is A for amount. So constant amount of the drug is eliminated. Now this rate of elimination remains constant irrespective of the drug concentration. We saw just now, no matter how much you increase the dose, the elimination will be constant only, because the enzymes are already saturated. So some drugs such as ethanol, high-dose phenytoin, tolbutamide, theophylline, warfarin, they follow the zero order kinetics. Now why do they follow zero order kinetics? They follow zero order kinetics because the dose or the concentration of the drug at the clinically given dose, that dose reaches the saturation point of the enzymes only. That is why they follow the zero order kinetics. Normally a drug will follow the first order kinetics only, but only and only if the enzymes are getting saturated. In that case only they are going to follow the zero order kinetics. But for these drugs, this saturation occurs at the clinically given doses only. That is why they follow zero order kinetics. In fact, most of the drugs, they do not follow absolute zero order kinetics, and one of the drugs that reaches to that absolute value may be ethanol. Now let us understand a bit about the zero order kinetics also. Now we have already studied that in zero order kinetics a constant amount of the drug is getting eliminated because the enzymes are fully saturated. So let us suppose that I am starting with 100 molecules of the drug and a constant amount, that is, let us suppose I am losing 20 molecules every 2 hours. So after 2 hours I will be left with 80 molecules. Again after 2 hours I will be left with 60 molecules. Again after 2 hours I will be left with 40 molecules. Again after 2 hours I will be left with 20 molecules, right? So what is happening to the rate of elimination? I had 100 molecules and after 2 hours I had 80 molecules. That means I lost 20 molecules. So the rate of elimination is 20 by 2, which means 10 molecules per hour. Now in this case also, from 80 to 60 in 2 hours, that means again I have lost 20 molecules in 2 hours. That means the rate of elimination is 10 per hour. In this case also, the rate of elimination is 20 molecules in 2 hours and it is 10 per hour. In this case also, the rate of elimination is 20 molecules per hour, that is 10 per hour. So if you look into it carefully, when the plasma concentration is high, the rate of elimination is still the same. Even when the plasma concentration is low, the rate of elimination is still the same. It is uniform all throughout. That means in case of zero order kinetics, the rate of elimination is not related to the plasma concentration. There is no relation. Whatever is the plasma concentration, the rate of elimination will be same. That means I can say that the rate of elimination is actually constant. We have seen already. It is the same. So let us assume that this constant is K. Now let us see what is going to happen to the clearance of the drug. Now the clearance of the drug, it is given by rate of elimination divided by the plasma concentration. Now the rate of elimination is a constant K. So K upon plasma concentration. So if I reverse the proportionality now, I am going to get clearance. I have to remove this K. It will be proportional to 1 upon plasma concentration. That means clearance is inversely proportional to plasma concentration. So let us see here also. Now what is the clearance in this case? The rate of elimination in every case is same. So this was the plasma concentration of the drug. It is 0.1. In this case, this is the plasma concentration of the drug, 80. So the rate of elimination is 1 by 8, which is 0.125. Now in this case, this is the plasma concentration. It is 1 by 6, which is equal to 0.16. In this case, this is a plasma concentration. So it is 0.25. So see, when the dose or rather the plasma concentration of the drug is more, the clearance of the drug is less. When the plasma concentration of the drug is less, the clearance of the drug is more, right? That means it is inversely proportional, which we saw just now. Now let us see what is happening to the T half. So as I've already told you that 50% of the molecules are lost in T half. So if you see here, this is what I started off with. So if I have to lose 50 molecules, then it will be somewhere between here 60 and 40. So somewhere around here, halfway. So how many, what is the time that I have taken for to reach from 100 to 50? 2 hours here, 2 hours here, and 1 hour here to go from 60 to 50. That means in this case the T half is 5 hours. Now see in this case what is happening when I'm starting with 80. Now for T half I have to go from 80 to 40, and I have reached 80 to 40 in 2 hours and 2 hours more. So now the T half is, for 80 the T half is 4 hours. So again, so if I have to go from 60, then 30 will be somewhere around here. And what is the time that I am taking? 2 hours plus 1 hour to reach here. That means now the T half is 3 hours. And from 40 to 20 in 2 hours only. So now the T half is 2 hours. Right? So when the concentration of the drug is more, the T half is also more. When the concentration of the drug is less, the T half is also less. That means that T half is directly proportional to the plasma concentration. So now to sum up the difference between whatever we have studied now for zero order and first order kinetics. In first order kinetics, a constant fraction of the drug is getting eliminated per unit time. In zero order kinetics, a constant amount. The rate of elimination is proportional, we have seen also, to the plasma concentration. In this case, the rate of elimination is independent for zero order kinetics. In first order, the clearance as well as the half-life, it remains constant. Whereas the clearance is inversely proportional to the plasma concentration for zero order, and the half-life is directly proportional to the plasma concentration in case of a zero order reaction. So now what do we mean by half-life of the drug, which is also denoted by T half? Now this half-life or T half, it is the time that the drug takes for the plasma concentration of it to be reduced by 50%. Now in a one compartment model that we have studied in the previous lecture, after IV injection we can get two slopes. The first slope that we are getting is, suppose we are giving the drug by the IV injection. So once we give it to the IV injection, it is going to come into the systemic circulation. Now from systemic circulation, it will be distributed to the tissues. So we see two slopes. The first slope is the alpha phase. If you look here, this is the alpha phase. And this alpha phase has occurred because of the distribution of the drug from the systemic circulation to the tissues. Now we have also studied in the two compartment model that this compartmentalization is based on the perfusion of the tissues. That is, the highly perfused organs are a part of the central compartment and the lesser perfused organs are a part of the peripheral compartment. So now the drug will first go to the central compartment, from there it will go to the peripheral compartment, right? After that the drug is going to distribute itself among all the compartments. So then there is a phase of elimination, and this elimination, it is a less declined phase, and this elimination is the actually what we write as the T half or the half-life of the drug. It is this elimination phase. Now this T half, it is given by the formula of natural log of 2 divided by K. Now this K is the elimination rate constant, which is the fraction of the total drug in the body which is removed per unit time. It gives us the value of K. Now the K is the clearance of the drug divided by the volume of distribution of the drug. That is how we get the value of K. That means T half, the natural logarithm, the value of the natural logarithm of 2.693 into V by Cl. This is the formula for calculating the T half of the drug. So now let us understand the concept of T half also in a bit more detailed way. Now the T half is the time in which the drug is losing 50% of its initial plasma concentration. So let us suppose I started with 100 molecules. In the first T half I lose 50% of that. That means now I will have 50 molecules. In the second T half I am going to lose 50% of 50. That means 25 molecules. Now I will be left with 25 molecules. In the third T half I am going to lose 50% of 25 molecules now, and I will be left with 12.5 molecules. In the fourth T half I am going to lose 50% of 12.5 molecules now, which means I will be left with 6.25 molecules. So in the first T half I lost 50% of the drug. In the second T half I lost 50% here and 25% here also, 25% this one also. That means in total I lost 75% of the drug. In the third T half I lost 50 plus 25 plus, from 12.25 I came down to 12.5. That means I also lost 12.5 mole. That means now I have lost 87.5% of the drug. In the fourth T half I started from 12.5 and then ended up with 6.25, which means I have lost 6.25 molecules. So now I have lost 50 plus 25 plus 12.5 plus 6.25, which is equal to 93.75% of the drug. So a drug is completely eliminated in 4 to 5 half lives. This is a very, very important concept for you to remember. So now there is another concept, and that concept is known as terminal T half. So let us understand what the concept of terminal T half says. So suppose I am giving a drug by IV infusion form or a very high dose of the drug. Now we have already studied that the drug is going to go from the first to the central compartment, then to the peripheral compartments, and these two have been divided on the basis of perfusion. We have already studied that. The link for that lecture is given in the description box. I suggest all of you to go through it. So now, after the drug is going to distribute, then it is going to equilibrate, and this equilibration will occur slowly from the peripheral compartments. The equilibration of the drug with plasma will be slow. Why? Because the blood flow is slow. So now suppose I am stopping the infusion. So initially, what is going to happen? So let us suppose this is the plasma and these are all the peripheral tissues. Okay. So equilibrium between them is existing. Once the infusion is stopped, the drug will be lost from the plasma. So this plasma, it will lose the drug. So now if the plasma is losing the drug, then what is going to happen? That the drug concentration within the plasma, it is going to drop. So as soon as it drops, now the drugs from the peripheral tissue, they are going to come into the plasma. So that again the process of equilibration is there. So now there is net diffusion from the peripheral compartments. But again this equilibration will be slow because of the slow blood flow. So now the half-life of the drug will be prolonged because of the time taken to equilibrate, and then again it will be lost from the plasma after equilibration. So now the half-life will be prolonged. This prolonged half-life is known as the terminal half-life. Now normally the half-life that we study, or rather what the ones that are given in our books, they are in most cases the half-life at the steady state. This is the one that is clinically most relevant. But the terminal half-life is much more than the half-life at the steady state. Suppose in case of gentamicin, one single IV injection, the half-life is 2 to 3 hours. But again, because of distribution and this late equilibration, the terminal half-life for gentamicin, that is 53 hours. So that's it for today, everyone. If you like the video, then give it a thumbs up. Also share it among your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon so that you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. Do let us know down what other topics you would like us to discuss. We will meet you again very soon with more such videos. Until then, goodbye and take care.